Okay, today we're going to try to change this wheel bearing on this 2006 Honda CR-V. This is a two-wheel drive model. So the first thing we're going to do is loosen up the spindle. So I'm using a breaker bar and a 32mm socket that I got a free rental at AutoZone, along with a lot of other free stuff from AutoZone. They'll rent you. We'll talk more about that later. So you're going to want to get in there with a screwdriver and release that by hammering where they crimped that thing down so the nut will spin, and then we're just going to break it because it's easier to do it now than when we have it jacked up. And then we're going to take the wheel off. Okay, so the wheel is off, and now we're going to take off the brakes completely using the 14mm socket, the 2 bolts in the back. And just before I do that, if you can hear this, you can see that the bearings sound really bad, so we know it's time to change them out. So let's take these brakes off here. Okay, we got the brakes off. They're just tied up out of the way here. And next it's time to get these 2 screws out. So I just use a screwdriver and a wrench, and you can hammer on this. This may be easier or harder on some of these, but you just got to break these two screws here, and then this should come off completely. Okay, this is ready to come off. If you're having trouble getting this off, you'll notice there's 2 holes right here and right here, and you can actually drive some of the nuts. The bolts that are back here fit in there, and you can just drive those in and pop them out. I don't know what size they are, but if you're having trouble with that, that's the way to do it. But they should come right out. Alright, we got it off. This is our first look at the hub, and that sounds really bad. So we got to pull this thing out. So we already got our spindle loose, so let's take that off and try to figure out how to get this thing off. Okay, I am not a mechanic if you haven't figured that out by now. So I've never done this before. I'm using a slide hammer and a hub puller that I rented at AutoZone, and I don't know what's going to happen. So we'll see if I'm doing this right or if I destroy my car. Okay, well, it took a little bit more force than I thought it would, but we got it out. So there she is. So that just pulls right out of there, and race is still attached, so we got to figure out how to get that off and get that bearing out from the middle. Okay, so we have to remove this inner bearing here, and I'm going to use this circlip plier set that I got at Harbor Freight here, and it's kind of annoying because I had to file the tips down a little bit to get it to fit in there, and then we're going to be using this bearing adapter set from Harbor Freight as well to try to press out that center bearing. So I'm going to put the camera down and give this a try. Alright, so I'm cranking this thing out, and method I'm using, so I don't have any air tools or impact wrenches. I'm just making sure to give it a few taps every now and then with a hammer, and not crank too hard on this thing so I don't snap any bolts. So it's coming though. We'll keep cranking away. Okay, she's coming really fast now. I think we're pretty close. Probably not proper to use a breaker bar for this because you could probably damage the threads on this, so I'm making sure that I'm being real careful. Oh yeah, I think I got it. There it is. Okay, old bearing's out. I'm going to go ahead and clean out this inside part here, get all that junk out of there while I'm down here. And I figured out what failed with the old unit. I'll show you that right now. So here's the old bearing unit, and it is all jacked up, and you can see scored on the inside there, and it has definitely failed. So time to put a new one in. And I did get the model that has the ABS magnetic sensor on the inside. The brown was facing the inside. There's a brown ring and a black ring, and when I pulled it out, the brown ring was in first. Okay, so this is going to be the hard part. I've got to get that old race off of there. So if you have a shop press, this would be the time to use it. I don't have a shop press, and I don't want to buy a shop press for this one job. So I think I'm going to try the old Dremel chisel method, and I'm going to try to score a line right there and then bang it out with a hammer and a chisel, and hopefully that will get it off without damaging anything. So let's give it a try. Okay, so I'm all set up to start cutting here, and I have my safety glasses on. Get your safety glasses on, because this is hardened steel. It will make you blind. So start cutting. Don't go all the way through. Don't nick the shaft. Okay, so I've got my score in the metal, and I'm just going to give it a whack with a hammer now and see if we can crack it open. Okay, so I think I got a little crack in it because it's starting to move here. So it's coming right off. Glad I didn't waste money on a shop press. There she is. Alright, so now we can get the new bearing pressed in. Okay, so like I said before, the brown ring goes on the inside because it's got a little magnetic thing for the ABS sensor. So you'll see right here it's a little brown, here it's a little black. So you want the brown facing the inside. And just a note, I did pull the ABS sensor out of the little slot here so as to not damage it while doing this job. So I just pulled that out. Luckily mine wasn't rusted or anything. So I put a little bit of grease on the inside of there, just a thin layer, just to make this go on a little smoother. So using our Harbor Freight bearing press kit here, I'm going to find the right sizes and get this thing pressed back in here. So let's give it a shot. Okay, so once again, I'm properly using my breaker bar here. I'm just slowly cranking it in here. Sure does go in a lot easier than it came out. So I'm going to finish pressing this, and there's a bunch of attachments inside of that kit. Just grab the one that fits closest. Okay, so I just keep tightening the thing until it got snug. It just kind of stops on its own. So looks like it's pressed in. There's a little lip on the back here that will make it stop. So once you feel firm pressure, just go ahead and stop turning so you don't damage it. So alright, now we just got to press the hub back in. Oh, I almost forgot. Very important step. Don't forget to put your circlip back in. So that goes right back in there. So put that in before you press your hub in. I'm glad I remembered. Okay, so we're just pressing this thing on here. Pressing the hub on. It's going on pretty smooth. So far so good. We'll keep cranking away. Okay, we got the hub pressed back on, and so now we're going to just put the spindly thing back into there and spindle nut on there. Tighten it up. So just a reminder, don't forget to put the ABS sensor back in. Don't forget to put the brakes back on. So I'll put everything back together the order it came off, and should be good to go. Okay, got her all back together, and I think I did it right. I'm gonna take it for a test drive, and if you see this video on YouTube, that means I did not die on the freeway. But yeah, it looks good. Saved a lot of money, and there wasn't a lot of resources on YouTube for how to do this, so I thought I'd share with you guys. Could have been a better video, but the main goal was to get this on, and I didn't know what I was doing, so I think I do now. All right, good luck. If you have any questions, get a hold of me. I'll let you know what I know. Bye-bye.